Last time out at Chicagoland Speedway, Chris go passed Benny Watson late and got his 4th win on the season, and he is clearly the championship favorite with just 7 races to go in the season. However, it is maybe the most chaotic stretch of the season. Here today starts the second swing of the season. We have the Northeast swing at the start, and now is the West Coast swing. And it all kicks off at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Alsco Uniforms 200 at Las Vegas, Nevada. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Race 97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome to the West Coast swing of Las Vegas, Willow Springs, and Pikes Peak. And this is where this season is gonna get very chaotic, because Las Vegas, obviously we know what to expect here. But Willow Springs next week, the second and final road course, that could be wild, because every race that we've gone there has been pretty chaotic. And then of course Pikes Peak, never been there in the Powerade Truck Series, and then after that is Talladega. So still got a lot of unknowns, and we gotta see if Chris Jericho can hang on to his point lead in his dominant season. However, in the shocking turn of events, Spider fumbled the bag in qualifying. Only one of the 3 trucks started inside the top 10, and that's Juan Garcia. Jericho starts, I believe, in 21st, and then I believe Alzamo starts 17th. So on the inside lane, but in the mid-pack for those 2 trucks. We gotta see how it all goes down. We got Anna Miller up here in the booth at Las Vegas, and welcome to race number 10 on the season.
It's good to be up here again. Been a little bit, but I'm definitely excited for this one. Las Vegas usually puts on a pretty darn good show at pretty much any offline race. So I think tonight's going to be no different. We're going to have a lot of fun here. I think this is going to be very competitive. Inside lane, yeah, we'll see if those guys can try to work their way forward using that inside to their advantage. Or if someone from the outside lane can try to work their way forward somehow, some way. Yeah, I'm excited, especially since we are going to have pit stops in this one. We're going to really shuffle things up. Las Vegas, definitely one of the more unpredictable races. So let's see what happens here. And yeah, as you said, Nathan, we got a string of some exciting races coming up here. So it all kicks off here tonight.
Absolutely. We got a lot of wild cards, and even though Chicagoland was normal, Las Vegas is kind of normal. It's less chaotic than what Chicagoland can be, but we are on a stretch of caution-free races. Sure, ILP had a halfway caution, but other than that, I believe the last 4 or 5 races have not had a wreck that brought out a yellow, so we gotta see if the trend continues. But you mentioned this being a mostly inside lane threat. Sometimes that second lane can get a one off the corners, and we gotta see how that all plays out. But what do you think these guys need to do with pit lane? This is a tricky pit road to get onto, not one of the easiest ones. And it's just like last week at Chicagoland. It's going to be 1 lap 20, lap 22. So what do you think these guys will do on pit lane here tonight?
Well, I think it's going to depend big time on the tire wear and how much time these guys lose throughout the course of a run on old tires. If the tire wear is really high, you're going to want that undercut. But then obviously you run the risk of a caution coming out and then you get trapped. So then going long could be the benefit, but of course then you'll lose time in the short term. So, but if the tire wear isn't too heavy, then in reality, pitting at any given point could be beneficial or hurt you. It may depend on how many cars pit around you, how aggressive you can be coming onto pit entry. If there's a bunch of cars around you, you may have to be more conservative so that you don't get into an accident. So I think those factors are going to be something for these guys to consider. Tire wear will be the determining factor, though, as far as what the right call will be. Short pit, long pit, somewhere in the middle. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Got about the same tire of last week, about a second, so not too much, but it will affect them. And at the end of the day, it was pit lane that kind of determined the race winner last week at Chicagoland, and we gotta see how it all goes down. Chris Jericho, 4 wins in 9 races, that's almost 50%, and he has a 18-point lead over his teammate Juan Garcia, the Season 1 Powerade Truck Series champion. Logan Williams on the pole, still looking for his first Truck Series win, is minus 42, and then Benny Watson is in fourth, minus 42 as well. Outside of the top two, the points are very, very tight still, so that is why this is so intriguing with Jericho starting towards the back of the middle field. Duncan Wood in 5th, minus 43. Nicholas Samadeo in 6th, minus 46. Felicity Mendoza, the Watkins Glen winner, in 7th, minus 46 as well. Emily York Watson in 8th, minus 52. Nate Lopez is having a quiet and consistent season, honestly. 9th in points, minus 63. And then tied 14th in points is Carson Miller, minus 71. And Ryan Dwayne, minus 71. And we gotta see how it all goes down. 34 laps, about 20 laps on fuel, give or take. And it will be Logan Williams on the pole for his second pole on the season, actually. And alongside him is Duncan Wood. Eli Bright in the 3rd place spot. Been a rough season for Eli Bright, 25th in the standings. Once a good one here tonight. And Shane Kane has had some bright spots on the short tracks this season so far, but with a good qualifying one in the 4th spot. Emily York Watson in 5th, and Zachary Fitzwater. Been a struggling season for him, but he has a great starting spot in 6th. Avery Alford in 7th. Juan Garcia, the only spot inside the top 10 and even top 15, second in the point standings. And then you got last year's champion Jordan Stout and Roberto Crown Jr. rounding out the top 10. And going through the middle of the field, you got Alexander, one of the 3 dominant spotter trucks. And then there's our point leader in the middle of the field on the inside lane, but we gotta watch out for that all night long. And we gotta see what goes down. 34 laps on tap at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And we gotta see who gets the job done, because honestly, this is the last mile and a half, I think, true mile and a half before the finale at Atlanta in December. And Andrew, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who are you gambling, and who do you think will win at Las Vegas?
Oh boy, big bet here. I'm going to say I'm liking the Season 5 champion Jordan Stout. I always prefer that inside lane. I know he's starting a little further back on that lane, but still, I mean, he's a champion. He's been around the block. Very capable driver. He's in good equipment. I would not be surprised if Jordan Stout is able to get that W here tonight. Middle of the point standings, but still, I think that he is more than capable of getting up there and fighting for this thing, as we've seen in previous seasons.
Absolutely. It's been a little bit of a down year for McInerney and Lopez, but still been consistent at times. And we gotta see what Jordan Stout can do with the defending champion. But it will be 2 drivers that are inside the top 5 in the point standings, with 7 races remaining, with Logan Williams and Duncan Wood on the front row. Race number 10 on the season, and the kickoff to the 3-race West Coast swing is about to get underway. Is the Alsco Uniforms 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Great launch out of the gate from Logan Williams, who is still hungry after what happened at Martinsville a couple of months ago in both JDL Cup and Krispy Kreme National Series. Still in the title fight once that first win on the season. Eli Bright breaking away, closing in on the race leader, and side by side for second is Watson and Duncan Ward.
52 actually going to use that outside lane to get clear there, so yeah, we could definitely defend on that outside lane, and already seen that a little bit. I mean, obviously we're just on the short run right now, but sometimes we see at these mile and a halves, as the tires wear down, it can become even more multi-lane with the inside lane maybe pushing up a little bit more. So we'll see if that does end up being the case, although right there in the 19 just breezed on by I believe that was what, the 98?
Yep.
Yeah, 98 there. So, well, yeah, he's going way high there. Is the 98? That's almost a little bit too much so, and I think that's why kind of struggling to file in line is that number 98 truck.
I do think there is a second lane. Sometimes there is, sometimes it isn't, but I do think there is. But Las Vegas, if you get too out of the glare, then you will just slip back. Duncan Wood on the move in the number 52, wants his second win on the season. And I mentioned the point standings is been fairly dominant by these spy trucks, but other than that, it's still a dead heat. And that could be the case leading here, and after the West Coast swing, things can change on a heartbeat. All it takes is one mistake from these spotter trucks, especially of Chris Jericho and Juan Garcia, that will change everything. Watson, Emily York Watson up to third, and how about Jordan Stout little pick? He is absolutely flying here in the number 19 truck, and Shane Kane on the move as well. Angel Gutierrez's last 10 points, I believe, is inside of the top 5 almost, side by side with his teammate here, and what a run from the 41.
Trying to come forward there. Whoa, that was close. Holy cow. That was that the 42 and the 71, I believe? Phooey, that was a little close for comfort there, but thankfully they keep it together. But yeah, as I was just talking about, maybe multi-groove, maybe defending on that outside lane. It's not looking too good for that outside lane. You do not want to end up there. You are going backwards in a hurry if you get stuck up there. Now Emily York Watson is getting stuck up there. Top 2 are gone, but we'll see for how long.
How about Shane Kane? I mentioned that he's been good at the short tracks, but this is a fantastic one on a mile and a half for him. And Thorsport, they've been a very solid team this year with Vocal doing as the team owner. And Lopez has been solid ninth in the point standings, and then there's been times where not all 4, but 3 out of 4 have been inside the top 10. And right now you got the 88 and the 13 in particular, and even the 98 all up front. So great night from Thorsport. And, well, I mentioned Spire, and Roll is on the move. And here is our point leader of Chris Jericho, started in the mid pack, but he's all the way inside of the top 10.
A lot of shuffling throughout the field, pretty much, as you got comers and goers really throughout the field, as you just mentioned. But still, those top 2 pretty much in a league of their own, although 13 maybe looking to try to close that gap. 71 may try to do the same thing as well. Yeah, there is definitely enough speed for these guys, and with these being the trucks, they generate a lot of drag. They punch a big hole in the air. The draft is definitely a thing at this racetrack, so I think that these guys that are trying to chase down those top 2 will actually utilize that to their advantage to try and close in, and I think gradually that gap between the top 2 and the rest of the field will start to shrink.
Absolutely, and this is not what the top 2 really wanted to see, as never mind Logan Williams just put a huge gap over Duncan Wood right there last lap. It was 3/10 and it almost doubled, I think, so a bad lap from Duncan Wood, and I don't know what to do if what's the field with these spotted trucks, because not only is Alexander Rollins out of the top 5, but you got Pacheco inside the top 6 already, and both of these guys started outside of the top 10, and Juan Garcia, who started inside the top 10, is now outside of almost the top 20 now. So I don't know what to say, but it's been one heck of a season from these spotted trucks. But we still have pit stops, and we're only on lap 11, and we got another 10 laps until pit stops, and that's going to be crucial, Andrew, because we say it all the time, this is a tricky pit lane to get onto here at Las Vegas, and you can easily make a mistake here, and that can cost you big time.
Make or break your race when it's just the one pit stop. A race that is currently trending pretty clean and green. So, yeah, you're going to want to execute. Again, don't know quite how the tire wear is stacking up at the moment, but that's going to be the key. I mentioned it earlier, and you asked me about it earlier, just how much of a difference there would be as far as the pit strategy goes. But above all, just get it down pit road cleanly, because if you don't, no matter when you pit, well, it won't really matter.
Absolutely, and this is a tricky pit lane, and you can see right there, it's not easy. It's a sharp cutoff, and you gotta be very careful on that. And like I said, I do think, once again, for I think the 5th or 6th race in a row, these squads have been doing a nice, clean job here in the October and now November portion of the schedule. Logan Williams running a little bit higher in 1 and 2, Duncan Ward running a little bit lower. Duncan might have been saving himself a little bit. And we gotta see if maybe Duncan could get to the inside here. Alexander closing in. Got 3 rookies right behind this 2-season veteran of Logan Williams. And for Alzheimer, he could have won Nashville, he could have won Richmond, but he only has 1 win to his name. And maybe he can get another one here and make it 7 for 10. But Logan Williams looks very strong, and he's honestly one of the most all-time winningest drivers on the channel for a reason, especially this year. And he's doing a good job out winning at JBL number 17.
Look at Rowe, though. He's shot out of a cannon here all of a sudden. I mean, the 52, yeah, suddenly that was a really poor lap for him. But regardless, though, this 71 is charging hard. May even try to take a peek. Oh, boy. Had to get out of the gas there. But, yeah, Alexander Rowe's looking really, really fast. 13, Shane Kane even closing just a little bit. Everyone else starting to get a little more splintered back here. 1977 doing battle. The 15 looking on. Octavian Speedings, and then got the 88, and then a little more condensed behind them there. But yeah, I think we're gonna have a 3-car race here for the lead very, very shortly, because Alexander Rowe is on the charge.
Absolutely, and he is flying. Jericho, sure he's inside the top 5, but I don't think he's as fast as the 71. I think this might be one of the fastest trucks on the racetrack. And you know, Shane Kane, he looks like he's having a consistent truck. He's closing in slowly to the top 3. So I think, depending on how pit stops shake out in about 4 or 5 laps, it could be the top 4 bound for this race win. And 3 technical rookies, but you got Wolf, who's not looking at all, and Duncan Ward, he's raced all year long. But Shane King, I've been very impressed with the ones that he's had so far. He's doing 4th in points, but whenever he's up one, he makes the most of it. And Rowe, he wants another win. Like I said, he honestly could have 3 wins. Some of the wins that Jericho's had happened because of the bad luck of Alexander Rowe. Rowe got 2nd at Oswego. Rowe could have won at Richmond before he blew an engine. So Rowe could have 3 wins this year, but he wants the 2nd here today.
And he is right on the bumper of the 17. And I think, yeah, ooh, that was a bad corner there for the 17. Check them up. 52 closed right back in. 13 coming into this picture here. But, man, the 71, he's got a great long-run truck. I almost feel like if he pits before this 17, he's in the catbird seat. He's got a great, great truck there that is clearly really fast. He's got to maybe pit just a lap sooner than that 17. Give himself a clean pit lane to come down, and he'll be, I think, in prime position to win this race. But you also, like I said, don't want to screw yourself over and get caught out by a yellow flag, if indeed that does happen. Because as you said, this is a very tricky pit road to get onto. So if a wreck happens coming onto pit road, well, like I said, your day is done pretty much as far as competitive speed.
Absolutely, and we gotta see. I think we might see pit stops, and what's gonna do is exactly what you. Oh, look, Rins pit. Oh, look, Rins pit late, and Shane came with a aggressive pit road entry.
Made it work. Oh boy, that's a group there.
A busy pit lane right on cue, and I really like that call from the 17. Saw the 71 pit and decided, you know what, pit, and that's exactly what they did. Kind of what the 71 did, and now we gotta see what these guys do.
I imagine 4 tires will be fairly unanimous, or maybe 2.
2 tires.
Oh yeah, will be 2. Okay, yeah. So 2 tires because they don't need
Logan's
quite as much
4.
fuel to get to the end. Oh boy. Okay, so now we're getting mixed strategy here.
The
Ooh,
71's
this
the
could
only
get
one.
really interesting.
Oh my. The 71 and the 27 took 2, everyone else took 4. Oh
Wow,
boy.
strategy. Here we go.
I mentioned about a second of fall off. So that's going to be very interesting what ends up happening. Duncan would say that got a bonus point towards the championship right there. And some of these guys that pitted a lap later, a lot of them are taking 2 tires. So the first group of trucks took 4 for the most part. Now the second group took 2 for the most part.
Oh man, yep, here comes the 17. Flying around these guys. 13 is with him. Who's that that... Oh boy. Who's that that just gained a bunch? 77.
Yep, the point leader for Shirko, and it's gonna be interesting. We saw this at Nashville where it was like 2.5 seconds to fall off 4 tires when most people took 4, most people took 2, some took 4, and 4 ended up winning. Oh, we're on the caution!
And
Oh,
everything just... Oh
boy.
goodness.
I think it's the
Is that the
22.
42?
That's Eli Blake.
Oh man, he was having a good run.
Oh my goodness, and that's gonna change everything, and the caution-free stretch that we were on is over. Oh my. And we got some people on 2 and some on 4. I know for a fact the 71 is on 2. And I think so is the 77. I could be wrong, but I know the 17 is definitely on 4 tires. And a lot of these drivers inside the top 10 took 2 tires. Oh boy. 2 versus 4 once again, just like Nashville.
Oh boy. Well, good news is there's going to be less laps to have to hold them off. The bad news is there's not much of a gap to defend. So, oh boy, we'll see. We'll see what the difference is going to end up being. Alexander Rowe with a little bit of a cushion, a slight cushion, since he's got some cars behind him. But obviously, I mean, yeah, he's still got the 52 up here, who's bad fast, 77, and then the 17 on 4 tires. So. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see here on this restart. I'm just glad that we're actually going to get one, though, or with probably, 7 laps to go-ish. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, luckily we got a caution with plenty of time to get back going. And not counting Indianapolis Raceway Put, it's been about 5 races since we've had the wet. It's a great job from these truckers, but this is going to change everything. And just like Nashville, we will have a battle with 2 tires versus 4 tires. Let's go and see what ends up happening for the first caution in a while here in the Powerade Truck Series. And then let's get to the restart here in the Alsco Uniforms 200. Here we go, this weapon to bring up the first caution of the day, and the 97 of Santi Messi slides up the racetrack off the pit road exit while Eli Bright and Emily York Watson were side by side, and that sent Bright into Emily York Watson and kind of merged, and a slide in 3 and 4. And that's basically going to be it for this one. A fairly simple incident, but very unfortunate for Eli Bright. It's been a struggle season for Nice Motorsports as a whole. And for once, they were up front with multiple trucks, with the 41 and 42 in particular. And Eli Bright gets a piece of this one. Initially, I thought the 22 of Sussex got a piece of it, but avoided it barely, along with the 38 and the 43. So only a 2-3 truck incident here. And let's go ahead and get back to the restart here for race number 10 on the season. And then see what ends up happening with the 2 tires and 4 tire strategy.
Yeah, another kind of unexpected risk is cars merging up the track and not really checking their mirrors. Boy, yeah, Messi really... I don't think the spotter really made the call there, and unfortunately, a couple of really, really fast trucks are going to end up in trouble here. And yeah, lucky escape for Sustry, but yeah, rough right there for both Watson and Bright. But hey, sometimes that's how it goes. Still, though, you hate to see that for 2 trucks that absolutely had speed to finish top 10, maybe even top 5.
Absolutely, and that's just the nature of the Truck Series this year. There's a lot of competitive drivers, about 25 out of the 32, I think, are very competitive with the driver and owner pairings, and unfortunate break for him. And we gotta see of how this all shakes out. We got some drivers on 2, some on 4, and I know for a fact that the 71 is on 2, the 52 is on 2, and the 77 is on 2. Local Williams is on 4, and maybe the 13 is on 4. Other than that, I don't really know who's on 2 and who's on 4, but it's definitely going to be interesting. It's going to be a 7-lap dash to the finish here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Can Rousing will hang on to get win number 2, or will someone on those 4 tires get the job done? Let's go ahead and see what happens with 7 laps to go in the Alsco Uniforms 200. Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway after our first caution of the day in the Alsco Uniforms 200, and we are going to have basically a Nashville situation all over again, but adding a restart to it. We got mid strategy, 2 tires versus 4. We know for sure that the top 3 took 2 tires. Logan Williams took 4, and I'm pretty sure that Shane Kane took 4 as well. There's a lot of trucks that did the second wave around on pit lane, or the second wave by that took 2 tires. So gotta see how that all shakes out. Juan Duarte is in 6th, William Ayers is in 7th, Nick Lopez in 8th, Jordan Stout in 9th, and Aaron Abel now inside of the top 10. I don't like the call of 2 tires, because there is a second of fall off. So with them being on 2 tires, 2 of those tires are going to be really cooked at the end of this race. But we gotta see what goes down. 7 laps to go at the line, and then we'll be out saying, well, Linus back to the green on 2 tires in the Alsco Uniforms 200. A decent restart from Alexander Lowe and Duncan Wood, but we gotta watch out for Local Williams. I think he might be in the captain seat, and same as Shane King for certain on these 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, I already see a little bit of a gap developing there. Ooh, this will help Alexander Rowe. They go side by side for 2nd and 4th. 13's going to make the move underneath the 17. Boy, that's going to be big right there. And then, oh boy, if Logan Williams gets stuck on that outside lane, especially behind the truck on older tires, oh, that might be game over there for the 17 after such a dominating initial run. Race win already may have fallen out of his clutches at this point. 71, though, has pulled away, but the 13, I do believe, on 4 tires, is now clear and running him down. Oh, boy, big time running him down.
Definitely on 4 tires. No question about that for Shane Kane. And I was talking about him all day, and he might have a breakout day to the race lead, attempting to on the number 71. Got the number 77 also on 2 tires up here. I don't really know who else is on 4 though, but Jericho would still have a lot of points on his back leaving today at Las Vegas. But how about Ryan Duarte on the move? Jordan Stout taking the speeding Duncan Wood and unable. Angel Gutierrez last 10 points is now inside of the top 10. Anthony Hernandez, Avery Alford, Ramirez, Carson Miller, for Boquan Jr. is flying in at number 88 at Nashville. All 4 McIntyre trucks took 4 tires, and got to see how that all plays out. But right now, Shane Kane is pulling away, and here comes Nick Lopez, 9th in points, up into the top 3.
Looking to maybe gain some points here. I haven't seen much of Jericho, so definitely a potential for a good points day for a lot of guys. Whoa, 77. Woo. Files in line there. Yeah, knows that outside lane is no-go zone. So got right down there. It's almost like classic real-life Martinsville. It's like you get on the outside lane, bye-bye. So these guys are trying to keep in line there as best they can, but the 15 is going to have none of that and try to make that move. But all clean and good here for Shane Kane.
How about this? And how about Forcewood? I think they're going to get a top 2 here today because the 71 is on 2 tires. Nick Lopez going to send it into turn number 1. Almost contact there. And Forcewood, they're going to get a 1-2 finish here today. Jordan Stout, last year's champion. He's had a subpar season, but he's going to get a great one at the end of it. And Jericho keeps on losing spots. I think he's going to get a top 10 still. But it'll be the Powerade one to go for Shane Kane in the number 13. He's been so strong on these short tracks this year. And I think he was strong at Nashville as well. A hybrid of a short track and speedway. But he was up front all day long, top 4 truck. And he was one of those drivers that took 4 tires. And it's going to work out perfectly. Well, Doran, congratulations. Not only are you going to get a race win, but you're going to get a 1-2 finish with Nick Lopez in second. Shane Kane, first career win on the chain of the win. The Alsco Uniforms 200 at Las Vegas.
Awesome stuff there. And hey, credit to Alexander Rowe. Looks like we'll still emerge with the top 5. But yeah, 4 tires. I think even if that race did go green, definitely the play. And 13 was able to capitalize. I think the big win and move wasn't the pass on the 71. It was the pass on the 17 that got him into this position. So mad props there for taking that run after the initial restart. And that will get Shane Kane a really big W.
A fantastic job this season for Shane Kane. He's been one of the brightest surprises because some of the rookies we already know who they are, like Duncan Wood, Nicholas Samadeo, Ryan Dewani, Alexander Rowe. But Shane Kane was one of those rookies that is brand new. And he's been pretty strong 3, 4, 5 times in 10 races so far. And another day really strong, and he gets a race win. And Thor Sport gets a 1-2. So, fantastic job from that team here. And even if Ralph gets a 11th place position as well. So, 3 trucks inside of the top 11. And we gotta see how this all plays out, because Juan Garcia didn't really get a good one in 20th. Jericho obviously still got a top 10, but Logan Williams finished ahead of him. And Duncan Wood was around, but he finished 12th. So I think the points are going to be pretty similar leaving here today. But Juan Garcia is going to lose a lot of ground, and Jericho's going to gain a lot of ground. So Jericho's going to have a bigger point lead, but guys like Williams, Watson, Wood, Emily York Watson, and Lopez, they're all going to close in to guys like Juan Garcia. So, once again, for Jericho, he's been consistent, but he's got to be very careful to not step up, because if he does, he's going to have 12 cars or 12 trucks right behind him in the point standings. But Shane Kane gets the race win. I knew 4 tires was going to be the right call. We saw it at Nashville, but it almost played out with even more significant tire wear. And this time on a restart, it was the right call. Shane Kane on 4 tires gets the race win. Lopez in second. Join us out. How about that? Lopez got a top 3 finish. I'll take even Speeds in 4th. Alexander in 5th. Another race where he could have won, but he's still going to get a top 5 finish here. Logan Williams in 6th. I really thought he was going to win here today. At least get top 3. Still get 6th. Jericho in 7th. Ryan Dewani in 8th. And Leona Abel in 9th. And then shout out to Angel Gutierrez. Last in points. Mostly because of bad luck. He's had a lot of speed, but he's had a lot of bad luck. And luck is on his side here today with the top 10. Avery Alpha, Duncan Wood. But Brookman Jr., Matthew Burnett, and Caleb Rose, the top 15. Watson Hernandez, Ayers Fitzgerald Garcia, top 20. Carson Miller, Josh Winston, Samantha Oscar, Bradley William, Emily York Watson with a rough race here today in 25th. And then Mendoza, White, who was involved in that wreck, in 27th. Long, Vestager, Sam Deal might have been involved in that wreck. I don't know what happened to Sam Deal here today. And then Sestry and Messi rounds out the 32 truck field. A very fun race here today at Las Vegas, and especially with those 2 tires versus 4 tires, and that late race restart. What's the final thoughts, Andrew, and how do you think the season's going to go with only 6 races to go? And next we got Will Springs for the second and final workhorse of the season.
Well, considering the fact that Chris Jericho finished a considerable margin ahead of Juan Garcia, and the point gain for anyone else was very minimal. Chris Jericho looking really, really good at the moment. But yeah, as you said, we got some very competitive tracks coming up here, so anything can happen. A lot of it's going to come down to Yeah, some luck, but also having a good qualifying, getting the strategy right. Obviously, we saw some mixed bag of strategy there, and of course, the 4 tires was the way to go. Some guys were still able to hold on. I don't think Ryan Durrani was, or actually, he was around the top 10, I think, before the pit stops. I can't remember exactly.
Thank you. But
still, though, a good run for him, and Alexander Rowe still held on to a good result, but still, hey, we're in Las Vegas, so you roll the dice when it comes to strategy, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and the safe bet there was the 4 tires. Shane Kane found that out. But Chris Jericho, though, looking pretty darn good, I think, going forward. He's going to have a pretty considerable point lead. As you said, everything else is looking pretty darn consistent, so I'll be excited to see how it all goes for the remainder of this kind of western stretch that you were mentioning.
It's definitely going to be interesting because this is probably the most normal race of this West Coast Ring at Las Vegas. The next time out is Willow Springs, the second and final road course race of the season, and then we will go to Colorado for Pikes Peak International, the first time ever in the Powerade Truck Series. The National Series was there earlier in the year, and that pub a pretty solid race, so I'm excited for that one. And then what's after Pikes Peak? Talladega. So Talladega is a wild card, and even though we only have 6 races to go, it is far from over. Even though Jericho has a big lead, one bad race, and we will have several drivers with a chance. Congratulations to Shane Kane on a race win here today at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we will see you guys next week for some more course racing for the last time of the 2025 season on NS Racing 97 at Willow Springs International, race number 11 on the season.